ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, June 15th. We're back. It's been a week. Welcome in. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Let's get going. I hope you remember the text line is open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It was an interesting week last week. Of course, state baseball tournament held last week at Jack Cook Field, wrapped up on Saturday, and we carried all the games, and that was fun. And it was interesting to see a lot of people come into Huntington that had maybe never been to Huntington. I know West Virginia is not that big of a state, but there are a lot of people who have never made the trip to Huntington or had a reason to or have come to a game at Marshall University. So for a lot of people, it was an interesting experience because they discovered there's a lot more happening in Huntington than maybe you've heard. And I think we're seeing that play out on a grander stage with the World Cup to tie that in, because I've seen a lot of social media posts about people who are coming over from different countries, and they have this preconceived notion of what the United States is all about, and they're like, this place is great. We're seeing World Cup fans going to other things, doing the tour of the United States as they travel. Of course, we saw a lot of fans that are attending the World Cup at baseball games. They're singing. They're making basically American fans look bad because European fans really get into it. I think the Korean fans, Japanese fans, they really get into it. They're singing. They're fun. They make American fans look boring to some degree. So we'll get into that. But just to dial it back a little bit, it was fun to see the state tournament here in Huntington. And that's going to be here for a few years. And it looked like it went well. I was over there for the Huntington and Cabell Midland games and went over to see the local teams play, or at least the immediate area for me, and saw some good baseball. Glad we could bring all those games to you on the radio. We'll do that again next year. But it was fun to have everyone here in Huntington for the tournament. And I think you might see some folks come back. I know they loved it at Marshall University. They had to love it, because you got an opportunity to bring all these students in, and you got to show off the facility, show off Huntington, show off Marshall University. Maybe some eyes were open that, hey, this is pretty nice here, actually. This isn't as bad as we thought. And, of course, you know how misinformation gets out there, social media. Oh, Huntington has this problem. Huntington has that problem. Well, it's not as bad as you think it is. And so very positive weekend. I was excited about that. Of course, the weekend was also fun for me because we got the NBA championship decided. Knicks in 5 beat the San Antonio Spurs. So my Knicks are champions. I never thought I would see that. The Knicks haven't won the championship in 53 years. I'll be 55 in August. And so 53 years since the Knicks won the championship. And they look good doing it. Always found a way to come back. That was exciting. I thought the way that the city of New York just came out and exploded was amazing to watch. And then we get an anticlimactic Stanley Cup final last night. What happened there? Carolina beat Las Vegas 3-0, so the Hurricanes win that series 4-2. Carolina probably the team of most interest to a lot of people here compared to Las Vegas. I would say the Capitals maybe for some of you. For others, it's probably the Blue Jackets. It's probably the Pittsburgh Penguins for a great deal of you. You know, for me, it's the New York Rangers. For others, it could be a different team, but Carolina getting the job done. It was, again, that was anticlimactic for me compared to the NBA final. And so with all of that said, we are just straight into baseball now. College World Series is going to be interesting tomorrow because the Mountaineers lost yesterday to North Carolina 5-2. So the Mountaineers are now in the elimination game against Troy. That is coming up tomorrow. Troy stayed alive on Sunday, had an amazing comeback, and eliminated Ole Miss 12-8. So we got a great one here. Where are you at with this one right now? That's probably my big question for you is, are you pulling for the Mountaineers or are you pulling for Troy? And there could be some different reasons behind that. Are you a Mountaineer fan because, of course, you're a WVU fan, so obviously you're pulling for the Mountaineers? Or are you on the fence? You're sitting there going, well, I'm from West Virginia, but I'm a Marshall fan. And so Troy's in the Sun Belt. I'm not necessarily a Troy fan, but Troy's in the Sun Belt. So I want the Sun Belt to look good because Marshall's in the Sun Belt. You're going with me on this logic? So are you pulling for Troy or are you pulling for West Virginia? That's an interesting question. Where are you at on that? You're going to pull for the in-state team or are you going to pull for the conference team, the team that Marshall's a little more affiliated with? Or are you just going to sit back and watch? For me, that's probably the best option because the Mountaineers are having an amazing run. Of course, they stumbled yesterday, but they're having an amazing run. Troy, not even the best team in the Sun Belt in the College World Series, not in a situation yet where it's over. They can win and they can move on or they can lose. So it could go either way for both teams. It is an elimination game. It's a rematch, so this should be, can you beat this Troy team twice? Or does West Virginia think, okay, we beat them once before, we can do it again, no problem there. So that's going to be interesting tomorrow to keep an eye on. Of course, we've got more baseball coming up tonight with the Pirates back in action. They're in Sacramento. It's a 9:15 airtime for those of you staying up late to catch it. We'll have it here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The Marlins got the win over the Pirates yesterday, 4-2. So it's the Pirates and the A's. Diamondbacks beat the Reds 5-3 yesterday. The Reds opening up a home series with the Mets tonight at 7:10. And Guardians and the Tigers rained out in Cleveland. And that reminds me, that's one thing that I was happy about with the state tournament, Huntington. We didn't get the rainouts. See, one game I was delayed by like under an hour. There was another game I was delayed by like 5 minutes. And so state tournament went well. The weather's been great. We got a lot of rain yesterday, and that's fine. But for the state tournament, the weather was beautiful. You couldn't ask for a better week, and I'm sure a lot of people at Marshall are happy right now with the result of the state baseball tournament. So we'll get your text in. I know it's been a while. We haven't done this, so let's get that started. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Of course, there's a lot of other things that are going on. Of course, with NBA over, with the NHL over, the World Cup has taken over American sport, right? Team USA winning in the opening match 4-1. Up next, going to be a Friday afternoon game in Seattle versus Australia. Now, I don't know much about the group that the United States in. I'm going to be honest with you. The only time I care about soccer is when Marshall plays or Team USA is playing in something that merits my attention. This would be it. Something that demands my attention. Hey, playing in the World Cup. Okay. I guess I need to pay attention to this. And I did. I watched it. I tuned into that. I was like, okay, I don't know how good these teams are in comparison to the United States, but all right, 4-1, that looks good. So I was a little bit into that. Will I be into this game Friday? I don't know. But that seems to be what's taken over. Obviously, we got baseball all over the place, but still, the World Cup's been fun. It's been fun to watch those fans. You know, the reaction videos have really been fun to watch. Imagine coming to America and having no concept whatsoever of Buc-ee's. Imagine that. At least you have a concept. It's sensory overload if you've never been to a Buc-ee's. You walk in, it's sensory overload because it's I don't know, it's like the happiest place on earth when it comes to gas stations. You can get everything there, it feels like. The food. I mean, I love Sheetz, but boy, let me tell you right now, Sheetz food is good. Then you go to a Buc-ee's, and it's like, oh, this is next level here with everything that you can get. The beef jerky, clean, pristine bathrooms, and just have no concept of what that is until you land in one if you're from overseas. And that's been fun to watch those reaction videos, watching the people look at the stadiums these matches are being played in, and they're going, wow, people lied to us. These stadiums are great. So that's been fun to just watch that over the last few days. So that's one thing I will say about the World Cup. It's brought a lot of people into the United States, and their eyes are being opened that, hey, you know what? This ain't bad. This is actually a pretty cool sports country. And I think, we can agree with that. But at the same time, they're bringing some things in that I would love to see Marshall fans adopt, because You don't need a DJ. If you're at an event, say at the World Cup, they don't need a DJ. Those fans are singing songs all match long, non-stop. They've got everything you need. They don't need cheerleaders. They've got everything they need. They have their own soundtrack. They're just into it. And by comparison, American fans are boring. So what would you like to see Marshall do? Better yet, what would you like to see Marshall fans do to be a little less boring at Marshall football games? Or maybe we kill the canned music and just let the band play almost the entire time. What do you think? We'll get those texts going. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll get some basketball news to get into as well. And we'll do that as we are back and running, getting back into the swing of things. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
A celebration 250 years in the making. It's Dog Dazzle 2026. Friday, July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Dog Dazzle 2026 featuring West Virginia legend Kathy Mattea.
18 wheels and a dozen roses.
Plus, special guests Ben Whiskey and Brett Mahon with the Tri-State's largest fireworks. Gates open at 5 p.m. Enjoy inflatables, ice-cold drinks from the Smokin' Jay's beer tents, food trucks, fun and family all night long. Dog Dazzle with Kathy Mattea. Get to 937thedog.com for free ticket locations. America 250, Dog Dazzle 2026. Bark on with Kathy Mattea. Friday, July 3rd. Get to Jerks at Pullman Square for the official after-show party. Dog Dazzle 2026. Presented by Gomart, Austin's Homemade Ice Cream, K&B Pest Control, Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Busch Light, the City of Huntington, the Campbell County Commission, Little Caesars, Gomart, Great Outdoors Marine, Thoroughbred Express Wash, Blinko Glass Company, Wendy's, Tudor's Biscuit World, West Virginia Appalachian Laborers District Council, Xfinity, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Twisted Tea, Encova, Kendrick Communications, and 93.7 The Dog.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Grab the mic and bring the fun to the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. It's Mike Night every Saturday from 8 till 10. Whether you're a total rock star or just a shower singer who loves to have fun, grab the mic, sing loud, and make a night of it. And every Thursday evening, it's Wingo Singo Bingo. Every Thursday from 7 to 9. Singo Bingo plus 50-cent bonus wings. Great food, great drinks, and great fun. Every week at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, across from Pullman Square, downtown Huntington.
Father's Day is this month, and M&K Maytag in Proctorville has you covered. That's right, new appliances for Dad. Wait, new appliances for Dad? Hear me out. Your mom is a great cook, and new appliances from M&K Maytag will ensure that your dad's favorite meal is cooked to perfection. Plus, your mom will enjoy the upgraded kitchen. It's a win-win. Dishwashers, refrigerators, ranges, washers, dryers. You'll find it all at M&K Maytag in Proctorville. Happy Father's Day from M&K Maytag. Online at mnkmaytag.com.
This summer, celebrate America's 250th anniversary across Cabell County. Beginning June 15th, pop into the Marshall Visual Arts Center for Legend Has It, a look at textile arts throughout time. July 2nd and 3rd, experience 1776, featuring the Huntington Symphony Orchestra and special guests Michael and Todd Cerverus at the Keith Albee Theater, plus Dog Dazzle with Kathy Mattea and fireworks at Harris Riverfront Park on July 3rd. This celebration is made possible by our sponsors, the Huntington Foundation and Arthur and Joan Weisberg Family Foundation, Burke and Herbert Bank, Marshall Health Network, Cabell County Commission, the Herald Dispatch, Truist Foundation, Village of Barbersville, Little Caesars, Neighborgall Construction, Greater Huntington CVB, Service Wire, J.H. Fletcher & Company, Dutch Miller Auto Group, Silling Architects, Permco, Huntington Drum and Container, Jim's Steak and Spaghetti House, WSAZ, and Kindred Communications. See the full schedule now at cabellcounty.org/America250.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back with this Monday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Let's go to the text line. Dexter says, "Hey, Paul, I am sure you're happy as a pig in mud with the Knicks winning. As for WVU, I will never pull for them even if they played Red China." Appreciate the text. I recall saying that about another team. I think I pulled that out years ago. I was young. Look, I was younger. You know, I was a little bit more bombastic. I was prone to making those large statements. So no, you're not rooting for WVU against Troy. So we got one for Troy. I appreciate the text. Also from the text line, texter says, "Paul, I expected larger crowds at the baseball tournament. From the attendance at the basketball tournament, I thought there would be more. Are city officials happy? Was I expecting too much?" I think city officials are happy. As the tournament went on, the sessions got bigger. I mean, that was evident. Some of those games, you had small schools, so you're not going to get that big of a turnout. And some of those teams had to drive several hours to get to Huntington. And so for a few teams, you're going to have friends and family. You're going to have smaller crowds. For some of the other schools, size doesn't matter. You're going to have big crowds. I mean, Ripley showed up. George Washington showed up. I think the Martinsburg fans showed up. Huntington St. Joe fans showed up. I think you can't really judge too harshly on this one. I felt like the crowds were good, and it got better as it progressed. I mean, a lot of people will show up for the championship. Hey, they're in the championship. And there were some gaps between sessions. The first Saturday, that was single A, and then you had to wait several days. And you had Sunday off, and then Monday you went with double A, and then Tuesday you went with triple A, and then Wednesday you had quad A, and then you had the semifinals, and then, of course, the finals. I was a little disappointed with some of the home teams, just the local teams. I thought there could have been more, to be honest with you. But I don't think anyone was disappointed. And this is year one of this tournament. Word gets out, hey, this was a pretty good tournament. And I don't know if it's fair to compare baseball to basketball, to be quite honest with you. A lot of people, there are people that take off the week and just go to the basketball tournament. And that's their thing. They just do that. They take off. You've got so many sessions. It's going by a little quicker. With baseball, you got 4 sessions a day. And, well, actually, it's 2 sessions. You get 2 games per session. So you have 4 games total. I don't want to judge it. I thought the crowds were good. Now, if you went on some of the early sessions, some of the smaller schools, some had some fans there. Some had, a few fans there. But it got bigger. And there were several games where the crowds were really into it and in sync with what you thought the state tournament should look like. So I don't think anyone's unhappy with it. I haven't heard a negative word, not even privately, about the tournament. And being year one, you put on a good show and you make a good impression and people talk about it, and you're finding out that, hey, Huntington wasn't so bad. There were a lot of food options, and that's the thing. If you want to have an event in Huntington, boy, there's a lot of food options all up and down the road. You can find something to eat, somewhere to go. That's one of the things about Huntington. You can find a place to eat. Doesn't matter. And all you have to do is come to Huntington, and you will find that it's not so bad. Tournament was well run. No problems there. I thought it was very professional, well run. Didn't think that there was anything that really stood out that was like, ooh, that's not so good. And we got great weather. And part of the problem also is, and the basketball tournament's maybe an example of this slightly, but part of the problem is you're having these games and they're in the middle of the day. How many people can just take off? I mean, friends and family can, but how many people just casually can just take off? And again, the state basketball tournament is a different beast. It's been going on in Charleston forever. A lot of people just go to that. They take off the week and just make it a point that they spend their time at the basketball tournament. And honestly, as well, keep this in mind. Basketball's in a different part of the year. I can remember when Huntington High, the Pony Express, got into the state basketball tournament. They bussed us up there. it was easier. We were in school. We had permission to go to the basketball tournament, and which was really cool. And I don't know if you had that at some of these schools for where we're at in the calendar year. Did you go to any of the games? I'm asking that for fans. If you were there, what'd you think? I mean, I'm probably a little positive on this side. What did you think? And I'll open that up for you, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. As far as the other comment, yeah, I enjoyed the NBA Finals more this year than I enjoyed the Stanley Cup. It's usually the opposite. And with the Knicks winning, first time in 53 years, I love it. Dolan gets out there and goes, hey, I'm sorry it took so long. I mean, the fans were booing him. They showed video on social media. Somebody did. They're at Radio City Music Hall. Of course, that's part of the empire. And fans are watching at Radio City Music Hall, and you see Dolan come on, and it's just like boo. And then he's like, hey, I'm sorry. Everybody knew I'm sorry. Sorry it took so long. We got you. We got the championship finally. And the fans were cheering and happy. Now do the New York Rangers for me. Just now do the Rangers. Now do the Cincinnati Reds. I'm just going to flip that back over to the other teams I care about. Do the Reds now. Give me a World Series there. Do the Bengals. Give me that first. It's time. Just my entire life. It's time. Get me a Super Bowl championship. It's time. Look, I'm not going to be on this earth another 50 years. I would love to be, but I'm not going to. Let's get me my championship in football. Let's get me my Bengals championship so I can have one. So I can walk around with my Super Bowl champion shirt and all my marked up gear. Let's get me the one. You know what to do, Bengals. You know what to do. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's been a few days since we've done this. This is fun. Glad to get back into the swing of things. Thanks for being a part of today's edition of Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, listen, we love our drinks out there. We love our parties, and we also love a place that can make that easy to do. Tailgaters Carryout is the place to do that in Ironton, locally owned and operated. Kevin and Amy want to make sure your party goes right, and one thing that'll make it go right is exclusive signature mixers. Take them home, turn any party into a tailgate party.
If you can drink it, you're going to find it at Tailgaters, all right? The drive-through they got, you could go inside to see the selection for yourself. They got the carry-out. The Tailgaters carry-out is at 1412 South 3rd Street in Ironton. That's 1412 South 3rd Street in Ironton. Get on over there. Tell them Lex and Terry sent you. Say hi to Kevin and Amy and the whole staff. They're going to help you find what you're looking for, man.
Ironton, we've kind of figured out without Kevin and Amy, you guys would be screwed. So make sure you go over to Tailgaters and check out their signature mixers. Tell them Lex and Terry sent you to Tailgaters.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hometown Chevrolet, your home of the new 30-mile-per-gallon Chevy Trax and the new 3-row SUVs like the Traverse, Tahoe, and Suburban. Everything you need right here at home. Want a new truck? We have 0% financing for a full 5 years on new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s and free oil changes for life at your hometown Chevy dealer. Our used inventory is priced to move with the quality you want at a payment that makes sense. From low APRs to rebuilding, we'll get you done. Hometown Chevrolet, Waverly, Ohio, where everybody
he drives home.
Here's another Kindred Communication Community Chatter. Marshall University's Huntington Alumni Chapter is hosting its 2026 golf tournament fundraiser. This raises money for scholarships for future Marshall students. This will be at Creekside Golf Course Friday, June 26th. Registration 7 a.m. Call Gene Chapin at 304-360-1023 to sign up.
This Cantor Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Kentucky Farmers Bank, a Better Bank in Summit, Ashland, Catlettsburg, Louisa, and Wheelersburg. Online at kfb.bank.
This is Huntington Mayor Patrick Farrell. The best part of any city isn't the buildings, it's the people. It's neighborhoods spending time together, families making memories, friends reconnecting on a summer evening. That's what Dog Dazzle is all about. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Celebrate America's birthday with food, music, community, and fireworks over the Ohio River. Because the best cities are built when people come together. Come celebrate America's birthday with us.
Does fresh matter at a restaurant? You bet your butt it does. Does every restaurant live by the rule of fresh? Unfortunately, no. But at Oscar's Breakfast Burgers and Brews, fresh isn't just a buzzword, it's the rule. Never frozen, hand-patted ground beef on every burger. Fries and sweet potato fries peeled and cut at Oscar's. And the sauces, those are made in-house too. That's the Oscar's difference you can taste. Fresh. Oscar's Breakfast Burgers and Brews. River Place Plaza, Barboursville, OscarsBBB.com.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me out to the park, for reading me books, for taking
me to the doctor when I broke my foot in ballet rehearsal,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for having the chance to take you to the park, for reading you those books we enjoy so much, for being able to take you to your therapies after you twisted your ankle, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing, and in your new role, we help you help. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to get practical health and wellness tips to provide even better care for your loved one. Remember, visit aarp.org/caregiving. AARP. We help you help. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, you can catch Metro News Talk Line tomorrow, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Of course, state baseball tournament last week preempted our show, Dave's show. Dave, of course, was calling several of the games from Jack Cook Field. He was doing the show from Marshall's TV studio over at the J School. Had a chance to go over there on Friday and talk to him. If you hadn't had a chance to go back and watch that, it's available now. They've got their streaming app. You can get that, or you can go and watch it on their website, or you can just listen to the podcast of it. It was really fun to talk to Dave about the state tournament. Of course, Dave was very gracious to invite me on, talk a little bit about myself and my career. And I invite you to go back, listen to that. And don't forget, Metro News Talk Line coming up tomorrow, 10:06. Dave Wilson, TJ Meadows, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line to be a part of today's show is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. A couple of things I want to get into before we call the day today. The big thing for me today is we got to talk about this. And she's going to come on the show on Friday. Peyton Ilderton has been named to Marshall's basketball staff. She's going to be the assistant director of operations. So she's going to take over for Brianna Ellis, who is going to move up. Brianna is going to be the director of basketball operations. So you keep Peyton in Huntington. You keep her on the team. She knows what you're looking for. She knows the culture. She's been through it. She's been through a lot at Marshall University. And I think that's a good move. Here's someone young in their career. You give them an opportunity to work in the background now. They know the culture. She can still get out there and go, right? Always helps when you got someone on staff that can get out there and go, and she can go, definitely. And she's really a positive story for the Thundering Herd. She was a walk-on from Marshall, and she got on scholarship. 121 appearances for Marshall women's basketball. So Peyton's going to come on with us on Friday, so I'm looking forward to talking to her. So until then, we're going to pin this one, and we'll get back to it on Friday. The other thing that's coming out right now, we don't have all the details just yet, but I'm following this one. It looks like the Sun Belt's going to try to raise the exit fee. Now, is that a good move? Would you be for that? And I would say yes at the moment because I don't see Marshall's going anywhere anytime soon. Where would Marshall go? Is Marshall a candidate for the American right now? Would Marshall go to the American? Would you want Marshall to go to the American right now? I mean, do you see the Power Four expanding further? And this has got to regulate eventually. I mean, what are we going to get here? We're going to get 4 super conferences and then everybody else. And to be honest, I like the makeup of the Sun Belt for Marshall. If Marshall would get itself in the American, what would that mean? And I'm just throwing that out there. That hasn't been discussed. What would that mean, though? But back to the original thought there. Is that a good idea to maybe bump up the exit fee a little bit, deter members from making laterals? I mean, you got Texas State leaving and then Louisiana Tech's coming back. So Tech's coming in, Texas State's going out. Not necessarily in love with the move. I don't think Texas State leaving definitely doesn't hurt the league. I mean, it's a good program, but I don't know if it hurts the program, the league. I don't know, by making a move away from the Sun Belt. And Louisiana Tech, I think Louisiana Tech's probably the big winner in all of this. Travel's going to be better. The opponents are going to be better. Let's be honest, Conference USA, I give it a lot of credit for holding itself together, but Conference USA is not the conference of old. I mean, when Marshall got in, it wasn't Conference USA. But now you're looking at a league here featuring, this is your Conference USA. Delaware, FIU, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, Liberty, Louisiana Tech's leaving, Middle Tennessee, Missouri State, New Mexico State, Sam Houston, UTEP, and Western Kentucky. Those are your core members. And so now Louisiana Tech's leaving. And all of that's been taken care of, the buyouts, all of that. Everything's good. But if you look at the teams in Conference USA, where is Conference USA most vulnerable? And where is the Sun Belt most vulnerable? I would think that if you look at the makeup of the American right now, there might be a couple of candidates that could possibly make the jump, but that's going to be dependent on what the other leagues do. I just don't know if there are too many teams that you're looking at that could possibly make the leap. And where are we looking at here? Are we looking at the ACC maybe? Is that what we're looking at right now? Memphis has tried. Boy, has Memphis tried. But you have Memphis and Tulane probably. If there are any candidates to jump, it's Memphis and Tulane. And I don't think that you're going to see too many people knocking on Rice's door. But of course, you're going to have to fill that. And so, you look at the Sun Belt and, what schools are candidates for leaving. And I would say that schools that probably have the aspirations of jumping would be, I know Coastal's got aspirations, be JMU. Probably JMU would be the one trying to work its way out. It's similar to what Central Florida was trying to do. Central Florida gets in the MAC, and Central Florida was trying to make a beeline to get out of the MAC. But all these schools have aspirations. Honestly, I think JMU probably would be the candidate here. So to get back to what's coming out here, if the Sun Belt raises the exit fee, would this just be on the surface, okay, we're just going to make it a little harder for you to get out? We know it's coming. And so we're trying to make sure that we get a little bit more money out of this if there are teams that are looking to leave. But as it stands now, I don't think there are too many teams that are going to make the jump. And I don't know what the American's going to look like if a couple of the core teams leave. And I definitely know Conference USA is going to be the carcass everyone picks over. It's not as if the Sun Belt's going to say, hey, let's take some teams from the American. And honestly, the only team I want from Conference USA right now is Western Kentucky. I would like to see them back, and that would be an added benefit for Marshall. For me, that's what I'm looking at here. Give me Western. But would I like to be in a conference with East Carolina? Absolutely. Would I like to be in a conference with Charlotte? For basketball, maybe. But East Carolina, Memphis, Tulane, those are schools I would be happy to be in a conference with. But I like the makeup of the Sun Belt a little bit more. And honestly, I would like to see Marshall instead of trying to jump up, and I'm just saying this out loud, this isn't prompted by anything other than, hey, the Sun Belt's looking to increase its exit fees. But I would like to see Marshall just get to that point where it's the predominant power in the Sun Belt in all things, and start making its mark that way, instead of trying to jump up to the next level where it's going to cost more. You'll get more, but it's going to cost more as well. And I think the big thing for Marshall right now is let's get this athletic department in a place where you can pay for this. You can maintain it as well. That's a big thing for the university, for the athletic department. We got to make these facilities pay for themselves. We got to make these facilities work. They can't just be one-use facilities, and we got to maintain them well. We got to do more with the facilities. That's the big thing. Not, hey, let's go out and build a new thing. Instead, you can't do that. Let's make what we have work for us. And, there are definitely some things in the works for the football stadium. I know I was over there. I was looking. The fencing is down. That looked good. I like that. It gave it, it's amazing. Fencing coming down just opens it up a little bit more. Of course, you still got the outside fencing area, but I know there's a lot of effort to improve what you have. You're not going to build a new Jones C. Edwards Stadium anytime soon, so you better take care of what you have. That's probably the big thing right there. And I think the university is putting itself in that position. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And you know what? If a school wants to leave, and that's more money coming into Marshall, because anytime a school leaves, if you're happy where you're at, if they're leaving, make sure you get a paycheck. More coming up. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 in AM 930.
For one night only, 9th Street becomes Shakedown Street. 9th Street is Dead this Friday, June 19th, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center on the Marshall OBGYN stage at Moses Auto Mall of Huntington. 9th Street Live, presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Experience a night of iconic songs, epic jams, and a community that knows how to keep the music alive. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for July 10th and enjoy the music of the Beatles with the Newbies. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 14th, sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kindred Communications.
Hi, I'm Elise Smith, First Lady of Marshall University and founder of the Women Warriors Summit. The summit is back this fall, and we're bringing an incredible day to Huntington, West Virginia. Join us Friday, October 23rd, as women from across Appalachia and beyond come together for the power of reinvention. This year, we'll talk about what it means to grow, change, and begin again at every age and every stage. And we have an amazing lineup to lead that conversation. Brooke Shields, actress, best-selling author, entrepreneur, and advocate for women, will join us as our keynote speaker. Amy Purdy, 3-time Paralympic medalist, best-selling author, and co-founder of Adaptive Action Sports, will serve as MC and speaker. Expect big stories, fresh ideas, and a room full of energy. Thinking about your next move? Visit WomenWarriorsSummit.com to learn more. I hope to see you there.
Save big money on your next painting project when you shop at Menards. Get long-lasting color with Pittsburgh's Grand Distinction Exterior Paint and Primer in one. It's highly dirt-resistant and provides a mildew-resistant coating. Save big money in all Pittsburgh paints. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help bring your dreams to life, 1 gallon at a time. Stop by your local Menards and get your project started today.
Save big money at Menards.
Grab the mic and bring the fun to the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. It's Mike Night every Saturday from 8 till 10. Whether you're a total rock star or just a shower singer who loves to have fun, grab the mic, sing loud, and make a night of it. And every Thursday evening, it's Wingo Single Bingo. Every Thursday from 7 to 9. Single Bingo plus 50-cent bonus wings. Great food, great drinks, and great fun. Every week at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, across from Pullman Square, downtown Huntington.
Ladies, prioritizing your health starts with Marshall OBGYN. From screening exams to disease prevention to management of reproductive problems, our team offers a complete range of services for women of all ages. Thinking about growing your family? Marshall OBGYN's physicians are experienced in providing you the support you need for normal or high-risk pregnancies in a friendly, family-oriented environment. Learn more at marshallhealth.org/OBGYN.
Working Man Store in Huntington. Check out the biggest inventory of scrubs in West Virginia, featuring brands such as Healing Hands, Cherokee, and Meg Couture at the best price. Working Man Store has one of the largest selections of big and tall shirts, jackets, and jeans in the area. Working Man Store is the king of blue jeans with Levi's, Dickies, Carhartt, Lee, Area, and Wranglers in sizes up to 72. And Working Man Store has the best selection of men's work boots and casual shoes anywhere at the best price. Working Man Store, open every day, 140 Fifth Avenue, Huntington.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's our final segment for today's edition of The Drive. We're back at it again. A little rusty, right? Get a week off, you don't know what to do. You come back on a Monday. Got to remember where all the buttons and the knobs go. And, of course, we're doing that with you at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in and says, Paul, to your point earlier about European fans having more fun, Marshall should get rid of the house DJ and let the fans and the band make the atmosphere. Appreciate the text. What do you think about that? No DJ, right? I mean, the DJ wasn't that more of like a Coach Huff wanting that kind of that DJ atmosphere in the stadium? I mean, does a DJ bring the atmosphere you want and expect from a college event? Now, is it also age dependent? Yeah, I go to a college game and you got the pageantry, right? The band is playing and the fans are cheering. And that's the atmosphere. You go to an NFL game, you don't have a band. NFL games are different than college games because it's just two different things. The atmospheres are two different things, and they both work. A pro game, it's a lot of high energy here. Of course, there's commercial breaks. Those kill. That's the thing. Commercial breaks kill, the long ones especially, kill the in-game atmosphere. But you don't have a band at the NFL game. I know there are drum corps. I've seen a few things, from now and then, but you don't have that kind of pageantry because it's a different beast altogether. And so you go to the NFL game and you have the house DJ and you have the music blaring and all of that, and you got to bring that kind of energy. But does that play well at a college football game? And I'm going to say not really, not necessarily. I'm not against the energy. It's just, when you want to support your team, you go to the game, and a lot of that's because you went there, and the band is part of that. The band's always been a part of that atmosphere. The band should be the main noisemaker, along with the fans. It should be the band at all times. And I like the bigger instrumentations, the better when it comes to the band. I know at halftime, you have the halftime performance, and you have the twirlers and the flag and all of that, and I'm not necessarily a fan of that style of marching band that some are, and I'm not going to get into that debate with you because you can't win with me and I'm not going to win with you. But It should be just about the band. That's the kind of energy I want. But you look at some of these World Cup matches, and man, you don't need a band. And they're into it 100% full blast. And then did you see the video of the fans from Japan after the match? They cleaned up. They picked the trash up and they cleaned up. You can't get that at Joan C. Edwards Stadium, man. You drop your popcorn, whatever. You leave that. You're not taking that trash out. You should, but you're not taking that trash out. You don't take that to the trash bin. You leave that there. I stay late at the Henderson Center because we're doing our post-game show there, and I see those workers, and granted, they're there to make sure the facility's ready for the next event, but I see some of the stuff that's left behind, man. They're sweeping lots of empty popcorn buckets, containers, all of your trash. And you have fans come in from a different country, and they're more respectful of the stadium than the home fans usually are. They're not having that. They're picking up their trash and taking it with them. Now, at Texas Stadium, the unbranded stadium, Texas Stadium, Jerry Jones can afford the cleaning staff. But that's just something that the fans should bring the energy. The fans always should bring the atmosphere and the energy. That should be what dictates the good time you have. And, of course, there are some thoughts. Hey, look, you're trying to attract a younger generation. You got to have these sort of things here. I don't know. I think in college football, college basketball, it should be the fans. It should be the fans bringing the energy. It should be the band bringing the energy. NBA game, absolutely. Different energy altogether. And, of course, that works there. Thanks for being a part of it today here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Glad we could get this thing off on the right foot. We'll be back with you tomorrow here. Do it all over again. Until then, you can find me on X at Paul Swann. On Facebook, it's The Drive with Paul Swann. Podcast will be available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget, you can hit the website as well. Get the app, listen to the show anytime. It's posted right there, WRVC.com. Have a great night, everyone.
WRVC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.